back to the show. Good morning, good morning, good morning out to you. How are you doing so far? How is your Tuesday morning going? If you're living in London, well, then good morning to you. But I do have a lot of you listening in from around the world, and I want to know how your day is going so far, okay? I want to know what the COVID situation is like. I want to know where you're listening in from, how your day is going. So go ahead and do let me know by leaving a comment down below. If you're listening to us on our social media platforms, there's a very easy way where you can just leave a comment down below. And since this is happening live, I can connect with you and get with you and talk to you and have a conversation with you right now, right here. So go ahead and let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how your day is going so far. And I do have a very interesting conversation lined up for the next few minutes. And I definitely am going to want to hear your thoughts and opinions. So please make sure that you hit that thumbs up button if you're listening to us on our social media. And also go ahead and do me a favor and leave a comment down below if you like the conversation. And if you don't like the conversation, that's okay as well. Go ahead and let me know, okay? All right, with that being said, just before I go on into the conversation, I just want to remind you that you can download our app as well. It's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So make sure that you go ahead and download the Relax Radio app. We're spelled without the X in relax, because we're all about positivity, okay? We don't want no excess in your life. We don't want no negativity in your life. And I'm here, basically all of us here at Relax Radio, we're here to make sure that you are inspired and informed at the same time. All right, now I got something very interesting to talk about. And I know this is definitely going to be something that's kind of controversial, and I definitely want you to be a part of the show because of that. And I want to hear your thoughts and opinions with regards to this. Okay, now this again is a situation that I've seen a lot in America. I have seen it here and there in the UK, in here in London as well. But there are so many incentives that are put in place, not just in the workplace, but yes, for employees and just in general for the general public, where they're given incentives and other tools, I would say, to help reach herd immunity, right? You know, we've had this conversation before. I've told you how a lot of people are opposed to actually getting their vaccine, right? Even in the UK, I read you a story actually a few weeks back about how this gentleman was saying that he wasn't going to get the vaccine because it was his choice, and he did his own research and he came up to the conclusion that the vaccine did more harm than good. And when I was having this conversation, interestingly so, we had somebody that texted me on the show, and I think he was from London, if I'm not mistaken, and that gentleman told me as well that it's his choice and he's not going to get the vaccine as well. Now, first of all, I get that you can have your own opinion. I get that you can have your own perspectives with regards to this. But at the end of the day, in order to create herd immunity, we need to give out the vaccine to as many people as possible. And because people have reservations, I would say, or people would have, they don't want to get the vaccine, apparently companies and other sites and companies basically are giving out incentives so that people go get their jab. Okay. And one such incentive that I found super interesting was something that Krispy Kreme did. Krispy Kreme, if you don't know, is one of the most popular, one of the most recognized donut chains in America. And apparently Krispy Kreme was offering a free donut if you had gotten both of your jabs, which to me was just like, whoa, okay, that's some crazy incentive right there. And that I guess kind of works, because that's going to make people want to get their vaccine. But more than just it's more than just a free beer or a free donut. Okay, it is more of the idea that, they are encouraging me to get the vaccine so much, it must be important. Do you get that idea that is conveyed by companies when they do have vaccine incentives such as this? And trust me when I say, so many states and cities and companies are offering incentives to encourage people to get vaccine. And I feel like the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you as well is because these little sweetness just keep getting bigger and bigger. Okay, because I think it was New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey, for example, is picking up the tab for a free beer for those who can prove that they got a shot. And Maryland is another state in America, and it's offering employees $100 to get the vaccine. Whereas in California, we have we do have teens that are getting encouraged to actually get their vaccines, and they are going to get a scholarship worth $100,000 US, which is absolutely amazing. So these are all incentives, and what I want to talk about is if it's ethical or not. Right now, we're going to head on off into a little break. When I come back, though, a lot more interesting things await.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account. And then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million, and they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so with different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
A very good day to you, and welcome back to the show. We've been having such amazing conversation so far, very different conversation, and I want you to be a part of the show. I want you to let me know what you are thinking, so go ahead and do just that by calling me on 078 52473 or if you're listening to us on our social media platforms, make sure that you do leave a comment down below, because this is happening live, right? And if we can have a conversation about whatever you want to, so go ahead and let me know what you are thinking. Let me know what's on your mind. And so far we've been talking about vaccine incentives, right? We've been talking about how people are, companies, states, cities are offering different kinds of incentives to encourage people to get vaccinated. And I told you how, some states are offering $100 for employees in the US to get their vaccine, whereas we have scholarships for younger children or younger teenagers. Actually, they're giving up scholarships worth up to $10,000 for having their vaccine for getting their vaccine and entering a raffle. We have companies that are offering everything from paid time off to gift cards to donuts and burgers and French fries. And there are so many incentives that are being put in place, at least in America, and I do realize that it's happening in the UK as well. But of course, the big question is, will any of these work, right? And it's so crazy because I came across some reports, and they suggested that at least some of these incentives are in fact helping people or encouraging people to actually go ahead and get their 2 jabs, right? And the stakes definitely couldn't be higher, and I think any incentive is worth it, because we do need people to obviously get their vaccine so that we can have herd immunity, because herd immunity is absolutely critical, and I will get to that in a bit. But what's crazy is that with regards to how we make decisions, I feel like when it comes to decision making, it's guided by whether people perceive an option as rewarding or displeasing, right? So when we evaluate decisions based on how we encode and how we recollect our own personal experience, or how costly we feel it is to choose one path or another, and how we process this information around us. So I think, in addition, different communities we live in may reinforce certain messages over others, and when you have incentives like this, I feel like that exactly is what's happening. So I do want to talk about is if whether paying employees and whether all of these incentives are actually beneficial, or if it is actually ethical to be paying employees to get their vaccine. Is it ethical? That's definitely something that we are going to be talking about, so make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.